We're often taught that getting rich is all about the numbers, right? It's spreadsheets, complex stock analysis, maybe even a fancy degree. But what if I told you the real key to financial success has almost nothing to do with how smart you are and everything to do with how you act?
It sounds like a trick question, doesn't it? Can a janitor actually build more wealth than a high-flying finance executive? Well, get ready, because the answer might just flip everything you thought you knew about money on its head.
So let me tell you about a guy named Ronald Read. For most of his life, he worked as a janitor in Vermont. Just a humble, quiet guy. Nothing about him screamed financial genius. And yet, look at that last word on the screen. Philanthropist. How on earth does that happen?
Well, here's the kicker. When Ronald Read passed away in 2014, he left behind an $8 million fortune. And the crazy part? He didn't win the lottery. He didn't get a huge inheritance. Nope. He just saved what he could, consistently, and let the incredible power of compounding work its magic over decades.
And Ronald's story just perfectly illustrates this idea from the author Morgan Housel. Building wealth isn't a hard science. It's a soft skill. It's about your behavior, your patience, your temperament. That's the stuff that really moves the needle. And Ronald Read got that, maybe even better than some of the pros on Wall Street.
So how do we crack this code for ourselves? In this analysis, we're going to unpack the puzzle of Ronald Read. We'll look at the real price of success, the dangerous trap of comparing yourself to others, why bad news is so addictive, and then we'll wrap up with 3 mental exercises to help you master your own game.
All right, first up, the true price of success. Now, we usually think the price of something is just the number on the tag. But when it comes to investing, the real price you pay isn't in dollars and cents. It's in your ability to handle the stomach-churning ups and downs.
Here's where you gotta flip your thinking. We tend to see those wild market swings, the volatility, as some kind of fine, a penalty for doing something wrong. But that's not it at all. Think of volatility as the price of admission. It's the ticket you have to buy to get the chance at those amazing long-term returns.
Let me put it another way. When you buy a watch, the deal is simple. The price is clear, you pay the money, you get the watch. Done. But investing, the price is totally invisible. You pay for it with fear, with uncertainty, with doubt, and with those sleepless nights when it feels like the world is ending. That's the real cost.
And believe me, that price can be incredibly high. To see just how high, let's take a look at one of the biggest investment success stories of our time, Netflix. Now, if you had invested in Netflix a long time ago, you'd be very happy today. But could you have actually survived the journey? I mean, look at this. Back in 2011, the stock price collapsed by 80%. 80! In just a couple of months. Just imagine watching almost all of your money just evaporate.
So here's the million-dollar question for you. Literally, would you have paid that price? Would you have had the guts to hold on while your investment got decimated? Or would you have hit the panic button and sold everything? Your gut answer to that question says more about your financial future than any analyst report ever could.
Okay, so let's say you can handle the volatility. Fantastic. But there's another sneaky trap waiting for you. And that's the never-ending game of social comparison and this mirage of what it means to have enough. Capitalism is amazing at creating wealth, but man, it's even better at creating envy. Just look at this ladder. The doctor earning $500,000 a year feels pretty good until they meet the CEO down the street making $10 million. That CEO feels on top of the world until they play golf with Michael Jordan, who's worth $2 billion. And even MJ might feel a little small next to Jeff Bezos. See the problem? There is always a bigger fish.
And this leads us to what is probably one of the most important rules in finance and in life. The real danger of envy is that it makes you do stupid things. It pushes you to risk things you actually have and truly need, like your reputation, your freedom, your family, all for something you don't have and don't even need. Knowing when to stop, knowing when you have enough, is a superpower.
All right, let's move to our next big psychological hurdle. Ever noticed how bad news just seems, well, smarter, more credible? It's not your imagination. Our brains are literally hardwired to be seduced by pessimism.
I mean, pessimism just sounds more intelligent, doesn't it? It grabs your attention. It signals danger and says, hey, you need to act now. Optimism, on the other hand, can come off as a bit naive, a bit clueless. Everything will work out just doesn't sound as sharp as, here are 5 reasons the entire system is about to implode.
And there's a really good reason for this. And it goes way, way back. It's an evolutionary instinct. For our ancient ancestors, treating a threat as more urgent than an opportunity was a fantastic survival strategy. The caveman who ignored the rustle in the bushes was a lot less likely to pass on his genes than the one who assumed it was a tiger and ran.
And this ancient bias gets reinforced every single day. Why? Because crises are fast and dramatic. They make for a great story. A market crash happens overnight. But progress, real progress, is slow. It's one little improvement stacked on top of another over decades. It's a boring story. So naturally, our attention gets hijacked by the negative, the dramatic, the scary stuff.
So, we've laid out the traps, our fear of volatility, the poison of envy, and our brain's love affair with bad news. The big question is, what can we actually do about it? Well, let's get into 3 practical mental exercises you can start using today.
Here they are, your 3 best lines of defense. Number 1, accept volatility. See it for what it is, the fee you pay to get into the game, not a fine for playing. Number 2, define your enough. Figure out what your financial goals are for you and stop moving the goalposts just because your neighbor bought a new car. And number 3, recognize your own pessimism bias. Just knowing that your brain is wired to overreact to bad news can help you take a deep breath and see the bigger, often more positive picture.
And that brings us to this final thought. We spend so much time and energy thinking about how to grow our capital, right? Which stocks to pick, which funds to invest in. But what if your most powerful financial asset isn't in your bank account at all? What if it's your own sense of calm? Your ability to be patient when everyone else is panicking? That, more than any stock tip, might just be the real secret to building lasting wealth.